Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Let me briefly start with today's agenda. The webinar will take around 1 hour, during which we will focus on strategies of change management and corporate transformation, including such topics as how to get and buy-in from the senior leadership, how to overcome resistance from employees, how to thoroughly plan the introduction of change, and how to measure the results of change implementation. The reason why we have organized this webinar, is due to the fact that previously we have arranged or spoke about IT audit, and we got a lot of questions about, okay, you have an audit, but how do you implement changes? So this is the reason why we wanted to share our knowledge on this topic, right? So the main focus will be at tech teams. The format of the webinar will be interview-based, where I will, as a moderator, ask questions. And my co-speaker today, Ruslan, will be answering them. A few words about Ruslan. He works as CTO and head of architecture team here at Sibedge. He is an expert in fintech domain. One of the fields that he covers is software engineering audit and IT audit. He has more than 30 years of experience in IT. And he has managed a number of fintech companies as a CTO, worked as a consultant and advisor on a number of different company boards. Let's define what change management and corporate transformation is, right? It would be helpful to be on the same page and to sync the basic knowledge of change management, what it is, right? Let me start with a question to you, Ruslan. What is change management for you as an external expert that participates in transformational projects?
For me, the change management is a part of the project management set of methodologies, and that's a tool that allows us to actually do some changes in the organizational part of the company. So here we are talking about the changes, not the, let's say, in the product, which is delivered by the company, but in the processes, how we are working on the product, in the people, because the people is the crucial part of every business. Even the visions and beliefs in the people. So yeah, change management, I'd say, to simplify, I'd say change management, it's about the process and people working on a particular working on particular differentiation part of the whole company.
Thank you, Ruslan. And when you start with this process, what is the first step?
Yeah, so the common things that we have the two sources of the every change management initiative. One is from the company executives, owners, founders, whatever. So because they want to transform companies in some way. Sometimes that arises from the insides of the company. So one of the teams proposing some changes, which will be as a result maybe local for that particular team, maybe wider for the whole company. Then after the idea of the change is actually defined, we need to create some kind of the approach, how we will implement that change. And here we start thinking about the method of the implementing that particular change in the company. And today I'll describe one of my cases where I selected the particular method. Well, actually, in the wild, there are a few different methods of the change management exists, but right. In that particular case, I present you guys the ADKAR methodology,
right?
And that was the, I'd say, robust and simplest one. Well, in my opinion.
As I understand, there are other methodologies to implement in change management process as well, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. I at least I know at least 10. But yeah. They have the different pros and cons, obviously. And the method I described today, that's most simple to understand, and it's easier to catch up and start working this.
Right. That's good. Could you tell us a bit more? You will be speaking about a particular case. What is the case? Who is the client, right? That you have implemented this.
Yeah. So once upon a time, I was in the very big enterprise company. It was a fintech solutions provider, 1,000 engineers, 25 years on the market, and more than 40 different products in different fintech areas. And the definition of the problem was the how to get rid of the some issues created during all that lifetime in the company. And the biggest issue was the very slow time to market. So from the line of the code to the actual delivered product, it could take months because, a very complicated, the big enterprise, that's a lot of processes. You need to define, design, analyze, then implement, then test, then deploy and support and all that in loops. And it takes a lot of time. And that process was slow and rigid. And the company works that way like for 10 plus years. And the problem was obviously the market requires that you deliver the new features faster. And if you're from the idea of that feature to the actual delivery, if that takes a lot of months, that's is unacceptable. So the goal was to shorten that dramatically, 10 times at least. And to achieve that, we need the changes a lot of all of engineering part of the company. And as I said, that's 1,000 plus engineers. So that looks like a very big project inside a very big organization. And the level management was they had a few different ideas how we can do that. So the goal was shorten time to market. Please analyze the ideas we have. Maybe we could add something additional. We need a clear and concise way to solve that particular problem. We actually proposed some solutions for that. We are proposing to shift to so-called DevOps practice, to implement so-called DevOps practices. Nowadays, it's pretty common thing, but it was almost 10 years ago. That was a pretty fancy, innovative in the time of the implementation. And that particular process change requires us to change all the engineering process all across the company. And because of that, was a very big project. So to simplify a lot, adding new practices to the engineering processes, moving to cloud native technologies, that declaration, containerization, Kubernetes, stuff like that, and using Kubernetes as an operational platform to deliver software this way. That was the solution. But we are talking not about the technologies here, but the change, how the organization was changed in a time frame where we'll spend well on the actual implementation of that change.
Right. So thank you very much. And when you are speaking about the initial step, what do you do when engaging into change management?
The first step is obviously is clarifying the problem. Then we are trying to create a short list of the solutions. But when we have a short list, we are kind of getting an idea what the direction of the changes we will propose. And from that particular point, we start delivering the information to the people who is involved, to the C-level, because they actually are requesting that change and asking, hey guys, what you will do to solve a problem. At the same time, we start delivering that information to the teams, which will be all right, management of the teams and leaders of the teams who will be involved in the change. So that's across the teams. So we start with the definition: what's their DevOps practices, what the cloud native technology is, and we're doing that by just creating a set of, let's say, learning activities. So it was the internal hackathons and webinars and meetings, whatever, to just clarify that, to be on the same page all across the organization, what that is. And after we align the management, the particular project change plan, and we have the green light on that, at that particular time, we already kind of have the idea what's going on and what we will do for whole team. Except maybe the regular engineers, but at least all the engineering management was unaware of. So this is because that first particular step of the ADKAR methodology called awareness. So we are trying to not just get the idea what we will do, but also deliver that information to all the people who will be involved in the process. So yep, that's the first step.
Thank you, Ruslan. Could you please, in brief, tell us what the abbreviation is, ADKAR, and what does it mean?
Yeah, so that's a 5-step process.
Right.
The first is awareness, second is desire, then the knowledge and the ability, and reinforcement. So we're talking about the first step here, because end of by the first letters that's ADKAR. And we talked about the awareness right now, and a little bit of the how that was in the time frame. Could you please return to the slide about the awareness? Yep. So that step for that particular company take for something like 3 months. We selected the particular way to implement the change. We got the green light for the higher ups, and we find out the 2 teams by the leaders of that team who is interested in that change. So they wanted to spend some time and investigate deeper. So that 2 teams see the value. And that 2 teams was actually the backbone of the whole changes in the organization. Obviously, you need to start with something smaller, and that smaller in that particular case was that teams.
Right. And the next step is?
The next step is desire.
Right.
That's I'd say that's the most complicated part of the change management. All right, you guys know what we need to do. You have the 2 champions, let's say 2 teams will want to involve into that, but they all across every organization that's a pretty common thing. Well, by the human nature, if you're trying to change something, even in particular for the bigger companies, for smaller that works too, but not so drastic. You need to penetrate some kind of the denial, because people work the way they work right now. And so the next step, and that's pretty crucial for the whole change, is to deliver the message to the all across organization why we will have the value if we are implementing that change. The most complicated because there are no silver bullet or magical pill to deliver the message to the people. The only tool you have is just, well, you just need to talk to the people, and that's it. Well, we have different approaches. You are trying to adopt your message to the particular teams, gathering the information and solving the particular problems of the team. You are asking people, hey guys, we have a great learning course for you. Let's go visit that, and you get the idea how it works. For that particular company, because one of the statement of the problem for a company is a very big rigidness and very high level of the denial of the new technologies. That was the actually initial definition from the C-level. So even C-level knows that. We created a little bit specific approach here. So we start from creating the particular POC, proof of concept project, with one of the teams we find out on the previous step. Yeah. So we created a small team of the engineers. Well, actually, we hired that and start building up the expertise in that particular area of the cloud native technologies. And that small team helped that 2 teams of the product teams, well, to actually create the POCs and deliver the product this way, because that's mostly about the delivery. So how that product, how the product builds, how it's packaged, how it's delivered to the customer side, how it's deployed, how we are doing all the support operation, stuff like that. So, and during all that talking to the people, learning and stuff like that, we're creating the desire, we're creating the particular case which clearly displays how it works. So they define the set of metrics. The most obvious one is the time to mark. So how long it takes to, well, you change the line of code, press the magic button, and your change is actually on the working environment. That was the most crucial one. And at the end of that step, we have the POC, which is actually, well, we were lucky, and we even have the client who asked us, hey guys, could you deliver the product using the cloud native technology? So it was a kind of enabler for the company. But yep, we was lucky, and we deliver that as a term, as a test environment, not the production one, but a test one this way. So we select one product from that 2 teams, created all the necessary updates and changes in the process and the technology, and deliver that to the client side. And we gathered metrics how it works in a particular case and compared to how it was, well, previously. And we see that, like in that particular case, it was like 15 times decreased time of the delivery. So from the line of the code to the actually production environment, something like that. And we now we have particular case, and we will deliver that message via the meeting all across the engineering, all across the company. Hey guys, if you go that way, we can achieve that level of the performance, and that actually buys people a lot. So you see, you can ask the particular engineering team, hey, how it works, what you do, what's the results, what's the complications, how long it takes to learn that, how long it takes to actually do some changes, stuff like that. All the questions, not from that initiative team of people who are trying to change the company using that new fancy words, but particular engineers who work that day by day, and they see the value. So that was the biggest challenge for the company, and I'd say the biggest success in that particular project.
Thank you, Ruslan. So to summarize, first you create awareness, right? So basically by analyzing the problem, presenting a certain solution, aligning the solution with the key stakeholders, and selecting champions, right? And afterwards, you basically lead by example, right? You try to create a small POC, a project that will serve as a method to convince other people of the added value that a certain change will bring to their daily work, right? Or operations, or whatever it is.
Yeah, example works very well. So you can learn people, you can talk with people, but having the particular materialized results, that's a very good things.
Right. So a question from my side: can something go wrong already on this stage, right? Because I know that we discussed with you one case that was very interesting to me, at least, right? Could you please share just shortly what it was?
Yeah. So on the awareness stage, that's a pretty common thing. Then you are, well, actually, because you are trying to define the change. When you're defining the change, we are approaching kind of project management methods. As a result, you will have the cost of the change, and that cost couldn't fit in the company budget and P&L and stuff like that. So that's a pretty common thing. But on the design, well, if we have the green light, we have resources, all right, let's go. On the desire state, it was a case in my life when we are failing in the desire state, and the biggest problem was the misunderstanding of the company engineering culture. It was a company that's pretty big one, but they not. So we're trying to change the engineering process. We'll improve it dramatically, and they're facing the issue when the company was actually originally created by the scientists. And because the scientific process is very different from the engineering process, because you're all the time looping between the two things, the hypothesis and the, trying to implement that. So trying to solve some problem or create something new. And in the scientific approach, the time is not biggest challenge, is not the requirement initially. So the goal is the focus, not the resource limitation, time limitation, stuff like that. And that's a pretty big company, a lot of time on the market, and they work that way like from the beginning. And almost all the engineers and the engineering manager working that way, they're thinking that way. And when we're proposing, like, all right, guys, let's define the idea, let's create the POC, let's plan, let's track the plan. If plan tracking is failing, let's do some pivoting inside the initiative and stuff like that. We're trying to implement that, but the most of engineers says, hey guys, that's not how we work. Internally, how we understand the process of the creating something new inside our company. And as a result, we get the getting that feedback. We are asking the C-level management, hey guys, you need to decide. Either we can allow to change the approach of thinking for the people. In this case, we kind of breaking that people and trying to ask them start thinking another way, right. Or we are not implementing that initiative. And the decision was, we are not going to implement that initiative. We are not going to change that, because we do not want to lose or break somehow our minds and the expertise of the people, because we're working that way like 10 plus years. So let's cancel that. So to generalize, if the change is against some cultural beliefs and ideas how the company works, like in general, in some against the baseline of the how company works, that will fail.
But I think that this also is also a question of the value for the business, right? Because the company is looking what kind of value this team, right, was generating to them, and probably they thought, okay, seems that they deliver more value to the business in the way that they are working right now, and breaking up their setup, right, would be very basically would stop them from delivering that value.
Yeah, so that's a very risky. You can break things. So
yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Ruslan. Could we please move to the next steps, and could you please tell us about the case?
Yeah. So the next step, I wouldn't separate that two steps, because that's a kind of loop. Right. So knowledge and ability, that's two steps, well, works together. So having the particular part of the company, the product team, the engineering team, if for the smaller company, whatever, you are starting implementing the particular changes all across the company. You're getting the part of the company, and the process is relatively simple. So doing the same you done for the champion team, for the POC team, you're doing the same for the particular team, or maybe for the whole company. So the first step is learning. So we are delivering information how to work that way, what will be changes, the helping the people to understand what we didn't know, we planning of the actual changes, and then that's a knowledge step. Then the ability step, we are actually creating the POCs, doing the actual changes, and working until we actually are able to work in the new way. This is because the ability. So in the case of that big enterprise company, obviously we are doing that team by team. So 40 plus products. So we split that all across the teams, and spend a lot of time actually working this way. And at the end of the loop, we are able to, well, we can say, oh, well, all right, that initiative, that change is implemented all across the company. So that whole project, well, just to clarify, it takes almost 3 years. So we are kind of defined the first year a little bit, that most of that rest of the activities, like the rest of the 2 years, is here in the knowledge in activity in ability areas. And how it looks like, the next slide please, with the Gantt. So we take I mentioned that 2 champion teams, that was a team 1 and team 2. So because they was in the desired state already, ready to the changes, they jump into that particular changes first. And as a result, they all the implementation, all the changes first. But it was a teams with the rigid internal philosophy, complicated product. For example, that particular company still delivering to the mainframes. And obviously, that is not allowing that to move. We cannot move to the cloud native technologies on the mainframes. But we need to support that software. So the teams working with that set of the technologies, obviously, the latest teams who join that change initiative. But still, if we are going to deliver to the common server infrastructure, we can do so. All right, that's here on the example. That's a kind of team 5. So it starts later and maybe takes more time. But as a result, all the teams all across the companies pass through that 2-step way, learning, then implementing, well, creating an ability to work that way. Yep. And we're doing the same we're doing for the creating the POC. So that expertise team, the initiative team, helping all the teams one by one, moving to the new paradigm, resolving all the problems, helping, giving a hand, teaching, well, evangelizing, obviously, because sometimes we're still facing the denial from the people. Well, even if we have provided so clear POC and these results, still some people is denying that. So we need to talk to them, promote the initiative, stuff like that. And because of that, we are shifting the starting points and the result is different. But still, at the result of that initiative, all the teams pass all the changes and implement that.
Right. So basically, you're speaking about some kind of a snowball effect, right? So you start with one team, the second team, word of mouth gets around the organization, and they understand, okay.
Yeah.
So
every day, more and more people already know how that works and can share their thoughts.
Right.
All right, that works very good. All right, if it just works okay, that's enough.
Right. That's enough. So it will get easier, especially if you are bringing this change to a larger organization and you need this kind of spread effect. If everything goes well on the with the first team, right, and the second team, which you really need to focus on, right, and introduce that change and really care for them, right, the other teams will follow if the results are good, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And here we're moving to the last step of the methodology that's called reinforcement. And here we're trying to address the natural thing for all of us. We are people, so we are talking about the changes in the people. People do not want to leave the zone of comfort. So moving back to that particular case. So 25 years, company works some way. And a lot of engineers, well, higher engineers, leaders, they are working in the company 15 plus years and work that some way. And they always asking why we need to change something if that works. All right, that works, not ideal, but it works. All right, we are clearly display what will be changed, what the benefits, stuff like that. Still having some issues during the day-by-day work. If that issue, well, somehow reflected to the changes we're doing, that's a pretty good, well, I'd say that's a pretty understandable strategy. So, all right, let's skip all that new fancy stuff and do that the same way, working and the battle tested way we are working like for a lot of years. If we are not reinforce people, so this is why we actually the name of the step, the people naturally will slowly drift to the old ways. So what we're doing here on that particular step, first of all, we still continue to helping teams resolve any issues they facing while using the new technologies, new approaches, new process, whatever. That's one. We are gathering the feedback. So what is wrong? What is not understandable? How it works? How we can help? So we are not just sitting and waiting the problems. We are proactively trying to dig that up and react proactively. So all right, seems you guys still not get the idea of something in particular. All right, let's learn that together. All right, we have the crucial project. All right, let's do that together. So we sit side by side and doing that, well, like in a few days, and we will do that. We are clearly displaying if any issue they had, we know when to call and to whom to call. So, and we clearly be displaying that particular team of the experts, I'll talk about a little bit of transformation of that group a little bit later, is happy to help. So you can rely on that team all the time. And in regard of that particular team of experts, which is created on even the first step actually, and evolved all during that process. That's a pretty common to companies, technology companies, to have some set of the group of the subject matter experts in the particular areas. So let's say we work in the databases. Obviously, we have the DBAs, which is the experts on the particular area of working these databases. The same way working here. So we're creating in the company, we have the group of experts, subject matter experts, which will help with that particular, in that case, the DevOps approaches, cloud native technologies all across the company. And on the reinforcement step, that team is stabilized. So almost all of the team members, which will join that team on the initial steps, going all across the different product teams, well, to work in that particular area on the heavy and big projects. But still, we have a few people in that particular case. It was like 4 or 5 people, I don't remember correctly, which is still working on the helping all teams all across the company resolving issues in that particular area. And as far as I know, even now they have that team of subject matter experts, and they still helping the people working that way. In my understanding, that reinforcement process is kind of infinite. So reinforcement from the particular process and the set of the people who can join and help you become, yeah, right, we have the, that person in the company who owns the technology, who knows how to work that way. And anytime, having any issues from any kind of, from the engineering level, from the pre-sales, from whatever level of the company, you can call these guys and ask them questions, and we will, because the expertise, they will answer that pretty clear and fast.
So basically, what you are saying, it is important to highlight the team of experts, and that they are always open to answer questions or even help out in when it comes to the change that you are trying to implement, kind of internal marketing of the team of the experts, right?
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Ruslan.
Yeah, so yep, we spent like 3 years for whole initiative, and reinforcement continues from now on. I mean till now,
right.
as far as I know.
Right.
So how it looks overall? First year was about the testing approaches, emphasizing particular teams, creating the POC cycles, start like that. We deliver the message to the company, and company agrees, all right, we will do that way. Second year, we are implementing and scaling all that activities all across the teams. And the biggest problem here is not all the teams get the fast results. So, still you need to spend some efforts, passing that issue. At the third year, we'll start gathering the fruits and results, and I'm happy. In that particular initiative, we're absolutely happy. So the time to market from the line of the code to the delivery decreases something like 100 times. The new result, which is not was the initial set of the objectives, was creating a new market. So because you so quick in delivering new features, you can create your own software as a service, service for smaller company, and you can deliver the software on your own cloud-based infrastructure. That was so. At the beginning, you have only 1 or 2 just test environment all across the company. As a result, after 3 years, every engineer at any point in time can press a button and have its own deployment of the software to play with, to test, or whatever. And because of that, we are seeing the last one 40% reduction, not related to that particular technology, but overall engineering process. So QA engineers do not need to sit in the queue until the particular environment will be ready, and you are not breaking something work if you break that particular environment, stuff like that. So having a lot of almost automatically deployed environments creates so many flexibility, unlocks so many people. So we are having, just in general software development, we're also having almost 40% increase in the productivity. So that's great. That was a very big and heavy project for me. I was in role of the leading expert. So yeah, I was the leader of that DevOps expert team, and then passed by to the team, to continue on. And I'd say that was a very complicated, but a very big success for the company.
Yeah. Ruslan, thank you very much. We are speaking about 1, 2, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Probably this is due to the fact that this is a very large organization, right? In smaller organizations, you could probably drive through the change in a much faster way, no?
Yep. It was even the 1 week change project for me in my lifetime. So that depends on the scale, obviously.
Obviously. Look, I will ask one question. We received a question about the following thing. whom to ask to get the names of stakeholders in awareness stage. Do you understand how to, I think that I understand the question, how to locate the correct people who are answering for the different parts of the change that you want to implement?
So, well, please guys, please understand. So every change is a project. So you're doing the same when you're doing the project, but it's projects related to the people, and because of that, you need that methodology work with people. So still, you need to have a clear goal, and define the resources, define the stakeholders, define the teams which will be involved in that project. So calculate how many time, how many money you will spend on that. So all that stuff is still needed. Having that definition, you need to, before each project, we have a discovery phase. And that discovery phase clearly defines who is the stakeholders. You start from the people who are actually trying to, initiate that from the top management, let's say. That's obvious members of the stakeholders teams. But after that, you are trying to understand which people will be touched by the change, and you need to ask them, hey guys, from your point, who will be the people defining the requirements, and then checking the results. And that allows you to create a initial at least list of the stakeholders. That obviously will update it almost on the, I'd say on the awareness and desire states, you will be update that list almost all the time. On the implementation stages, like later on, that's not changes at all.
Right. Thank you very much, Ruslan. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to write your questions. We will have a small Q&A session, about 10 minutes, Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Now I will just start with telling the story of AREEBA, which I'm allowed to share by Ellie. If you haven't heard or you came late, unfortunately, our second co-speaker had some health issues he needed to attend, and he couldn't participate into today's session. And with his permission, I will share the story of AREEBA. Please use the chat window for your questions. So we met with Ellie back in 2023 when AREEBA was in the middle of their corporate transformation. And basically, he shared a story that previously it used to belong to a large bank, right? The system, and it got bought out, right? And AREEBA was created, and today it is an international payment platform with online payment services, POS terminals, including e-wallet services and other features, right? So there were two main reasons for starting the corporate transformation that AREEBA started. Like already mentioned, AREEBA became an independent payment service provider, not part of the bank, right? So it was impossible to follow the mindset of a bank function and depend on third-party vendors to serve clients. As it basically slowed down the delivery on new features. And the second reason for starting this transformation, the unfavorable economic situations in Lebanon at the time, made their economic model too costly. So two reasons, right? And the approach was the following. So the main change was driven by the CEO of the company, and the goal was to overcome mentioned challenges and reach the final goal of distinguishing AREEBA as a payment provider on a highly competitive market, not only in Lebanon, but also in the Middle Eastern region. And the plan was to attract the right competence in order to develop the team, or in order to grow the development team, right? Since you had a product, you needed to develop it. For this, you needed the developers, right? So they grew their IT team in order to get rid of dependencies on third-party vendors, right? And development teams on third-party development teams, and basically develop almost everything in-house. As well as applying new strategies to SDLC practices and to modernize and data strategies to modernize this application, right? So they met a number of challenges. The first challenge was the employees' culture and the mindset. Like I think Ruslan already mentioned, people are very rigid, right? To implement changes, right, and to change at the beginning. So that was the first challenge. The economic crisis affected the way of corporate transformation and the speed of corporate transformation, right? And additionally, the transformational process was actually launched when the product was operational, right? And this created additional lags in feature deliveries and releases and like modernization, right, on technical level. And the way that AREEBA handled these challenges and overcame these challenges was number one, like Ruslan already mentioned, right? Behind every technology, there are people, right? That are standing and working on the product. So communication with the team, which was actually the most challenging part, and they applied trainings and individual discussions with leaders and encouraged them to transform. Spoke about the benefits of the transformations, and encourage people to drive the changes in each department on each level, right? They allowed people to make mistakes and learn from them. I mean, this is a natural part of every transformational process. Some things will go wrong, but as long as you learn from them, it's okay to make mistakes. And of course, provided timely figures and reports to the board of directors and quantified the results to manage the expectations. Since we are speaking here more of a corporate transformational project, the board of directors was heavily involved in this whole process. The transformational process as of now is far from over, however, these are a few highlights of the results achieved. The company is operational on 6 markets now, starting with Lebanon, but expanded internationally. Development team grew from around 30 people to around 200 developers during the course of 6-7 years. Compared to competitors, the team of AREEBA was able to create an efficient onboarding process of new clients, which can take around 1 month, which is very quickly for a payment service provider, right? They were able to certify the platform, which have been developed with their own forces. So this is an overall achievement. I mean, this is a separate achievement to get a third-party certification, which proves that the application is functional, right? It's scalable and so on and so forth. And one of the major intermediate the results was when they onboarded their first digital bank on the platform, right? So this was a confirmation from the market as well. So lessons learned from the transformation process. I think there was one major highlight, and once again, it relates back to the insights that Ruslan shared, right? Try to communicate with the value of the transformation early on. This will shorten the acceptance time by the team and increase the efficiency and output, because otherwise, I mean, people will not feel that they understand the process and the values, right? And it might take longer time, basically, right? We have also asked Ellie what he as a CTO, what kind of lessons learned or advices he would give to people implementing such changes. And the first one is, of course, believe in what you are doing. I mean, people will feel that people will probably feel if you don't believe in what you are doing, it's very hard to drive that change, right? Because we're dealing with people. Believe also that you can transform people, right? You need to have that belief. Believe in your team, and with encouragement and the right tools that you actually can transform people. And don't take the easy way out, which basically is, of course, it's kind of a startup spirit in that sentence, but the quickest solution is probably not the best solution always, right? And I think that AREEBA didn't take the easy way out. They took on a lot of challenges with growing their own team, with establishing a new product, becoming competitive on in the region, right? So they definitely didn't take the easy way out. So these are a few insights from Ellie's side. Now we can turn to the Q&A session. So what I kindly ask you to do is to ask your questions. I see that we already have a question from our audience in LinkedIn. Let's see. Could you please explain how to manage changes that needed to be implemented rapidly due to unforeseen circumstances? Is there some quick workaround, skip a few stages of ADKAR or something like that, Ruslan?
Well, actually, that kind of opposite of the idea of the change, because change means you guys know what you are changing, why you are changing. So that's planned activity. If we're talking about working on the incident, like something quick, well, the general idea, obviously, you should have some kind of, fire working plan. So you need to have something which allows you to do some quick changes, because, all right, to simplify, you can quickly patch the code. All right, no problem. Reinstall the server, do the backup, restore the backup, stuff like that. But you cannot quickly patch the people. People is always rigid and slow in changing and stuff like that. So if you get the idea that the change you in the team, in the processes, need to be implemented as fast as you can, do it as fast as you can, but do not expect it will be fast, because changes in the people, it's not the changes in the code. It cannot be done like in one day as a hotfix. That's a general idea. If you are having an idea that something displays to you, it will be needed change in the process, in the people beliefs and how they work. Start doing that earlier, before it actually impacts your business. So I see no other way to. Well, all right. Well, I give actually it was one case in my life when we quickly create a small team, very small team. It was like 3 to 4 people, who is already kind of is new approach of working, and we created that. All right, let's call it Tiger team. Created that Tiger team and passed the actual issue resolving to that team. But sometimes you cannot have such a person already aligned to the new way, and in this case, that not work.
So basically what you are saying, Ruslan, is that if you want to drive a change quickly, you need to form a team that has the knowledge of the new process, right?
Yeah, yeah, they are already ready to work that way.
Right, they are all ready to work that way. Ibrahim, I hope this answered your question. The second question was, and what unique challenge does change management face in fintech industry compared to other sectors?
Oh, that's a very simple question, actually. So if we're talking about let's say the common IT products, they from the ground up, they start using the approaches and technologies and way to work like right now is all across the IT industry. So that's a modern, we are talking about the agile, we're talking about the microservices architecture, stuff like that, we work in the cloud native, wherever. If we are talking about the fintech is a very old industry. So we're still working on mainframes sometimes. We are still working with the big enterprise vendor software like Oracle, stuff like that. And because of that technological rigidness and legacy, you are having and obviously the fintech is very big companies. So multiply the technological rigidness to the size of the companies, because I not seeing the fintech less than 100 people, something like that. So, sometimes that happens, but that's really 100 plus people, all ways of work, all the technologies, and you see the picture. So a lot of effort needed to change that. On the contrary, if we're talking about even the big just IT products, like, I don't know, Facebook, whatever, they are new fancy, they change a lot, they're using the modern stack of the technologies.
Right.
Yeah, they can easily hire a lot of people. This the same view on the process, on the technology from across the market. You cannot quickly increase the size of your fintech company working all the ways like 10 times if you need to. If you cannot scale your team pretty fast, well, you need to hire people and then onboard them for half of the year or something like that to fit into the process you have. So the rigidness and the legacy and the size.
Thank you very much, Ruslan. Before we jump to the next question, I have it in the chat window here. Feel free to join our Telegram channel, where we will post news about different webinars that we will be arranging, and we will throw in some content and information from this and previous webinars into the channel as well. Use your phone, use the QR code, join our channel. We will provide you with some input and updates on new webinars from our side. The next question, we have about 4 minutes left. What challenges might arise when implementing change management in a DevOps-driven fintech organization?
If we're talking about the technology, DevOps driven, that's okay. It's kind of top notch. Well, I'd not say that's top most of the notch, but still it's very it's very modern. I'm pretty sure you not need to modernize the stack, but in regards of the process and how the people works, that depends on your situation. Maybe, for example, you are I can give you example. You're working on something like waterfall project management, and you need to move to the agile. And if your engineering process and the stack of the technology is pretty modern, but still people trying to split up all the activities all the way down, like on the waterfall project management technologies, you can face the issue. Then you're trying to move the people to the iterative based development. Let's say we have a 1 week, let's plan and implement and then deliver all that way. That's a not technological issue. That's an issue. That's the people, how the people think about the work. So how they define the definition of done, how they define how to check that, how to test that, how to change the process. And that could be a pretty big issue, as an example. Another one, maybe you need to dramatically change something inside your product. So right now that's the very common things. You need to scale. You have 10 times more customers. Even if, obviously for business is good. More customers, more money, stuff like that. But for the engineering team, that's obviously the challenges. You need to quickly scale, maybe to auto scale. Maybe you will face a lot of people with a lot of issues. So support and QA becomes harder. Obviously, the security issues concern more people using your software, more security issues. A lot of things, can arise even on that, just market related things.
Thank you very much, Ruslan. And I think we'll have time for one final question. What resources, books, website, tools do you recommend for staying updated on change management best practices? I think that if you have a quick answer here, please feel free to answer this question. Maybe you have something on top of your mind, right? If not, we can share this information in our Telegram channel, right? That's number one. Second, we will send out a best practice handbook or giveaway material to you about change management in an email to all participants, so you will receive that. We will add some input from Ruslan's side on the last question, right, about websites, tools, best practices, and so on and so forth. And third point is that we will also send a questionnaire on the webinar, the format and the quality. We would highly appreciate your input on this for us, in order for us to become better. Could you please, Ruslan, do you have anything in mind that you could share with us already now on best practice?
Yeah, as you said, we already prepped that. So we will share you guys the information. So we kind of expected that question. So because of that, we already prepped that doc. We will be shared. I'll be happy to answer on the particular questions if you have something after you read that. So
guys, if you have some particular case that you would like to discuss with us, right, or Ruslan, I think that we can spend, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour of his time and bowl some ideas with you on what you would like to change, and maybe throw in some ideas on how to do this in the most proper way. I would like to thank everybody for participating in this webinar. We are on time. Feel free to register or join our Telegram channel, and we will update you with upcoming webinars and the themes of the webinars soon. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Good luck. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.